Good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay? It's so good to see you. I'm Rod June. I'm the Chief Investment Officer here at Lacers, and here to welcome you to our inaugural Emerging Manager Networking Forum. This is sort of a spin-off of our Emerging Manager Symposiums held free already. But we decided instead of doing something educational, which is what our symposium is designed to do, that we would do an event that focuses on meeting managers. Because at the end of the day, we know that's the most important thing, where the rubber meets the road, vice versa. So, welcome. We know that many of you came far away. Some are closer, but I know it's a lot of effort just to come to downtown. Again, thank you so much. This is our new headquarters building. So we've only been here about half a year. I hope you'll enjoy the facilities. We think it's very conducive to work and for the meetings that you'll be in later this morning. So on behalf of the entire Board of Administration and the General Manager, Emma, who cannot be here today, again, we're very excited to have you here. I'd like to introduce you to Barbara Sandoval, who many of you have already met this morning. She's the Emerging Manager Program Officer, and largely the reason why we've been able to put the event together. So thank you, Barbara. Also want to thank staff, because my staff have put a lot of time to getting things set up together. Okay. So before I go further, we're going to show you a video of several of our board members who aren't here, but they're here to greet you. So I'm going to ask our technical staff to launch that video. And
well, hello and welcome to the Lacers Emerging Managers Networking Forum. We're so thrilled that you can join us today. I'm Janice Sidley. I'm one of the trustees and commissioners of the Lacers Pension Fund. Lacers is the Los Angeles City Employees Pension System, and we oversee the pension and current benefits of both current employees of the City of Los Angeles and the retirees. We are approximately $22 billion strong, and we work very hard as a commission to make sure that we uphold all of our fiduciary responsibilities, yet we also are very active in making sure that we make informed decisions and reach out to emerging managers like yourself. And what I'd like to do is just have Commissioner Chow introduce herself, and then I'll just tell you a little bit more about Lacers and our Emerging Managers Program, and then we'll talk about the forum. Commissioner Chow?
Thank you. Welcome to the inaugural Lacers Emerging Manager Forum. We're really excited that you have come from all different parts of the U.S. and the world to introduce your firm to us, so that we have a better idea of how it is that we can continue to engage emerging managers and incorporate emerging managers into our program. My name is Annie Chow, and I'm one of the Lacers board members. I'm an elected member of the board, voted in by the active members of the City of Los Angeles. I've been sitting in the board seat for about 6 or 7 years, and it's been a great time for us as we have expanded our emerging manager program.
Thank you. So a little bit about Lacers and Lacers Emerging Manager Program. Lacers is a performance-driven fund, and we have been very active in the emerging manager space for over 20 years. This is a policy which is driven by our administration. The board has taken a very careful look at the emerging managers, and we have designed a policy and a program in order to reach out to emerging managers to work with you and learn more about how you are investing and your investment strategies. All of that information is available on our network, on our email network, internet network, whatever we call that. And so we are thrilled to have you with us today. I'd like to ask Commissioner Chow to talk a little bit more about Lacers and our various programs. Commissioner?
Thank you. I'd be happy to introduce you to everything that we do to really engage emerging managers. There's a wide variety of things that staff and our consultants have done to really expand the emerging manager outreach. We have a wealth of information, a treasure chest of information on our Lacers website. So I encourage you to take a look at all it is that's in the website. There are things on our investment policy, which will give the criteria of how to kind of engage or the criteria for our emerging manager program for all the various asset classes. There's information about our asset allocation and the specific ways in which we implement the asset allocation. There's also information on any open requests for proposals or requests for information. At Lacers, we have an open door approach to how we network with emerging managers. So at any time that your firm is in Los Angeles and you would like to meet with our staff can be reached at their email, and you can request a meeting to talk more about your firm and your capabilities. If today you have more you want to share with our staff and you want to introduce more of your firm and the time that was allowed didn't give you enough time, you can request follow-up meetings with our staff. We also conduct a lot of outreach. Our staff, as well as our commissioners, are out into conferences and trainings all the time. And we particularly will attend trainings related to diversity and inclusion, emerging managers, and anything related to public plan management. So if you meet any of our commissioners or staff, share your business card and we will give it to the appropriate channels. In addition, every year for the last 3 years, Lacers has been conducting an annual Emerging Manager Symposium. And in the symposium, the staff and our consultants will share about how our plan is run, how to engage Lacers in doing business, as well as information that would just be very helpful for any emerging manager to be much more familiar with public pension plan investing. And so I encourage you to look at the videos that are on the Lacers website of the past symposiums and also participate in any future symposiums that the Lacers staff and consultants conduct. Speaking of consultants, we encourage our consultants to really engage emerging managers, to meet with emerging managers, to be able to answer questions for emerging managers. And so feel free to contact our general consultants, our private equity consultants, our real estate consultants, as well as our private credit consultants. And lastly, sign up for RAMP. That is the City of Los Angeles RFP notification, so that you and your firm can get alerts anytime there is an open RFP for whether it's Lacers or the rest of the City of Los Angeles.
So coming back to today's forum, we are so thrilled to have you join us. And let me tell you just a little bit about our objectives. Our objectives right now for the Emerging Managers Networking Forum is for the staff to have an opportunity to sit with you, to meet you, meet your firm, hear about your objectives and your strategies, and also share quite a bit more about what we do and our investment strategies. We also will take the opportunity as we sit and talk to share with you about some of our investors, some of our consultants, and a little bit more of a one-on-one personal interaction about how to get involved in the Lacers Emerging Managers Program. And we encourage you to continue, as Commissioner Chow has said, to stay in touch with those of us here at Lacers. Again, if you see any of the commissioners out or staff, we encourage you to keep in touch. And we'll also, while you're with us at the Emerging Managers Networking Program, we'll introduce you a little bit more to our website, talk about our milestones, and talk about our objectives. So we're thrilled to have you here with us today, and thank you very much for joining us here at Lacers. Thank you.
Thank you.
So what I want to do now is provide you with some tips and guidelines as we go through today. with the staff. So as you know, get a 25-minute slot for your meeting. Use it to your best advantage. We are going to adhere strictly to the schedule. Everything's going to be timed down to the minute. So please be respectful of staff's time. They'll give you a warning, something like a 5-minute warning when you're getting close to the time slot. Please think about wrapping that up. You're going to be kicked out when that period comes. Move back downstairs here after foods. You already know who we are, and as the commissioner said, there's a lot of resources on our website. We have an emerging manager resource library. I'm hoping that most of you, if not all of you, had a chance to look. I wouldn't really advise you asking us questions about yours. You should be using today's valuable time to talk about your firm, what you're doing, and how you can be of value forward. Staff cannot and will not make any promises on commitment or dollars for investment. Today is a relationship building event. And so all of the discussion about how to get capital, that will come later. Think of this as a journey, right? This is the process that we go through to get to know better. And eventually, as the commissioner said, to get to know our consultant, because they are essential and key to what we do as far as our own investment process here. So we'll be making introductions to the appropriate consultant later on. So, that's a question for many. We'll handle that. If you're a public markets manager, you'll be referred to. If you're private markets, will be referred to Axia, and for real estate, Townsend. Understand that our consultants have their own pipeline they're seeing. So don't expect immediate results like a call from the next. All takes time. We're not only meeting with 18 managers today, but for the dozens and dozens of managers who not get a time slot, we're also going to be setting up them in summer, referring them to the consultant. So everyone's going to be very busy, patient with staff and with the consultant as we try to get the process here. I'll be here on the ground floor the entire morning, this room, to chat with you, to know you better. But the presentations and where you're going to really make that sales pitch is going to take place upstairs. I'm going to kindly ask that you limit your presentation to upstairs. When you're down here, do not make a sales presentation. Also, because there's going to be other managers around, I think being respectful of other managers and use time to just get to know each other. The same holds true for those of you who are going to join us for lunch across the street restaurant. Please don't do a sales pitch there. This is more of a social and working opportunity. Let's just get to know each other a lot better. Save your sales pitch for the staff. Lunch is no host. So I have asked by email that settle the table. There'll be about 5 tables today across the street, probably full per table. I've already pre-assigned which managers sit, which staff. We ask that we're going to settle the bill by cash, no host. Staff will be paying for their own lunch. Not attempt to pay for staff's lunch. Everyone should pay for the way. Please seek out the leadership of your investment officers who will help provide guidance on how to settle. Again, I want to thank my entire staff for working so hard on a lot of work put in. Thank you. And of course, to the Board of Administration, because without their support and guidance, events like the symposium, events like the networking forum like we're hosting, and all the other resources that we make available to them simply would not happen without them. So I heard from 2 of the commissioners, those commissioners who were not on the trust or I'm going to turn this over to my Chief Operating Officer, Brian Fujita. He's going to introduce it and we'll follow with Wilkin. Turn it over to Brian.
I'm just going to hold it. Well, good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to meet all of you, and thank you for coming out to our event today. I only see a couple of familiar faces, so really excited to get to meet all of you and meet with you, learn about your firms. As Rod said, this day is for you and for you to tell us about your firm. So we want to help you maximize that time. So we're going to do staff introductions up front, so that when you get into your meetings, we don't need to waste time introducing ourselves. So again, I'm Brian Fujita, Chief Operating Officer. I also serve as the head of the public markets team. So I'd like to introduce each one of those members, starting off with Barbara Sandoval. As you've met already, she is our Emerging Manager Program Officer. Barbara is also responsible for overseeing our domestic equities portfolio. Next up is Ellen Chen. Ellen Chen is responsible for our international portfolio, international equity portfolio, and she also serves as our ESG risk officer and is responsible for leading the efforts on our ESG program. Next to her is James Wang, who handles total portfolio risk management. So James isn't dedicated to an asset class, he's dedicated to the entire portfolio. Standing next to James's left is Jeremiah Paras, who is in charge of our public fixed income portfolio. And then I'd also like to introduce our support staff. Standing next to Jeremiah is Stephanie Silva, who's our administrative clerk. And somewhere in this room is Amy Patrick. She's standing in the back, hiding off camera. But she and Stephanie, as well as Ricky Mulawan, who's not here today, were critical in helping putting this event together. So thank you very much. I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Wilkin Lee, Director of Private Markets Assets, to introduce the private markets team.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good to see you all and welcome to our new headquarters. We're very excited to have you all here today and hopefully we'll make good use of all the meetings that are coming up. My name is Wilkin Lee. I'm the Director of Private Market Assets here at Lacers, where I handle private equity, private real estate, and private credit. I've been here for around 9 years, and prior to that, I worked at First Quadrant in Pasadena and Goldman Sachs in New York City. My team and I handle all aspects of private markets, from fund sourcing, due diligence, portfolio construction, also working with our board and our consultants in our commitments. I want to briefly introduce my team. I have Eduardo Park, who has been here for 10 years. Prior to this, he worked at Wedbush Securities, and he handles primarily real estate. Robert King, who has been here for 3.5 years. Prior to this, he worked at the Fed, and he primarily handles private credit and private equity. And we have our newest hire, Jessica Chumak, who's been here for a little bit over a month. She worked for the city and also UCLA Health, and she handles all aspects of private markets. We also have Clark Hoover, who's actually traveling today, but he has been here for around 3.5 years as well, and previously worked at FINRA and UBS, and he handles private equity. So with that, we look forward to meeting you all in the meetings and also at lunch, and I'll pass it off to Barbara.
Thank you, Wilkin, and thank you everyone for joining us for this inaugural event, first go around, getting out all the tweaks and figuring out what we need to do. We're open to feedback while you're here and follow. So part of my role is to give you a little bit of background how I'm involved in this effort. As the Emerging Manager Program Officer, I get the opportunity folks like you all and introduce, become a facilitator basically, and introduce to the rest of the team that are the deep dive experts. on the asset classes. My day job is U.S. equity, public market portfolio. Practically made the circuit of the entire portfolio with 20 years here at Lacer Investment. So again, welcome. Get to share a little bit of the logistics today. As Rod mentioned, the meetings are going to take place upstairs on the 5th floor, directly to the elevators. We ask to go directly to the 5th floor. Do not deviate, do not get lost. We're trusting that you all can do that. All of the instructions or you'll be led to. Meetings are done. Again, turn to the elevators, back to the floor, and then available or make you time as you lunch, gather around the or assigned tables, investment office, find you all can walk across the venue. For important details, restrooms are also available on the floor. There is an outdoor patio area facing this area. There are lots of nearby coffee shops. Explore. Have coffee, water here available. That I'll turn it back over to Rod. Ready for our first group to head upstairs. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Barbara. So we're running just a little bit ahead of time, which is good. We are trying to stay on schedule. But again, thank you so much for making the effort to come out to Los Angeles today, and particularly here to downtown. This isn't always the easiest place to get to, but we appreciate the effort. Know how much work goes in to getting to conferences and getting to meet allocators like ourselves, and so many out there. I recognize when you're a smaller firm with a small team, challenges that you face. So we are very appreciative again that you're here to join STEP. So on behalf of the board, we hope you enjoy the day. Hope you get a lot out of the meetings. And we look forward to having lunch with you later on if you are able to stay. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and close the welcome session. As Barbara had mentioned, you don't need to stay in this room, but if you do want to wander through Chinatown, please make sure you're back here about 12:30 p.m. We'll start, the last meetings end at 12:40, and immediately thereafter, we're going to go across the street. If for some of you who have brought luggage and want to store it here, it will be stored here in this room, so you don't have to drag it across the street with you, and you can come back here after to pick up items. For those of you who don't have anything to leave here, as soon as we conclude lunch, you're welcome to just depart from the restaurant itself. There isn't going to be another opportunity to network after the lunch is over. So that said, thank you again. We appreciate all of you. And please give my staff a round of applause for all the work they did, including the technical support staff sitting up here. They've done an enormous job getting all of the technical things. So have a good day. Thank you so much.